Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I'm actually okay. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Can you tell me what is your name and why are they arresting you?
I haven't done anything. My hands are being broken right now.
What is your reason for arresting them?
Let them go. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything.
Can you just please explain to me what law he broke? Can anyone explain to me?
Sir, I'm here to keep the peace. I have no idea.
You have no idea what he did.
You think you're above the law?
Keean Bexte for Rebel News here in Edmonton, Alberta, outside of the Alberta legislature, where a rather large, actually maybe one of the largest protests I've ever seen in front of the legislature has gathered at the Capitol Plaza. That's just sort of right in front of the dome. You can see it there. Now, between me and the dome is Antifa. And Antifa was brought here by Rachel Notley, the leader of Alberta's NDP. She wrote a letter to the Sergeant at Arms about 2 weeks ago calling on... The police are telling me to quit doing what I'm doing. I'm going to actually keep doing it. Rachel Notley, don't touch me. Don't touch me. Because there's no camera on you doesn't mean you can act like an asshole. Rachel Notley sent a letter to the Sergeant at Arms of the Alberta legislature demanding that the Sergeant at Arms break up this protest. Now, the Edmonton Police Service just happened to show up here in massive numbers that I have never seen before, with tactical units, massive numbers of police members, service dogs, guns, paintball guns, tear gas. They brought it all to quell this protest here. They say they're here to keep the peace, but that was proven to be not the case when they immediately arrested one of the people that was here to protest, a brother actually of a high-profile anti-lockdown protester from Calgary. His last name is Pawlowski. You might have heard of him. Now, of course, there's been no arrests of Antifa over here, the crowd that has been throwing things into this much larger crowd of anti-lockdown protesters. The police aren't interested in stopping them. They aren't here to keep the peace when it comes to them. They're here to quell this protest because Rachel Notley, their leader, their favorite leader from Edmonton, asked them to, effectively. Now, I want to point out the hypocrisy of what Rachel Notley has asked the police here to do, the Sergeant at Arms and the law enforcement of Alberta to do. She wrote a letter demanding that this be broken up, but that letter didn't come out when Black Lives Matter was doing the exact same thing here at the legislature just a few months ago. I'll point you to this tweet that Rachel Notley put out talking about how proud she was to be standing shoulder to shoulder with these folks, and I'll show you the actual medical order that Dr. Dina Hinshaw had released during that time saying that these gatherings were illegal. Now, Rachel Notley, when she is an ideological opponent of the rallies, of the protests, well, then she says they must be broken up. That is her communist socialist roots. She resorts to police authority when she's not getting her way. And this is the woman that wants to lead Alberta again. There's going to be another election soon, and she's going to be fighting against Jason Kenney to be leading this province. She is the one who is trying to send police officers to break up a peaceful protest because she can't handle any ideological dissent in this province. It's a massive problem, if I do say so myself. I'm going to go into the crowd and speak to the people here to see why they're here protesting and what they feel about Rachel Notley sicking Antifa on them.
I'm here because I'm fighting for my freedom, really. I'm sick and tired of being oppressed for just wanting to do day-to-day stuff, like going to the gym, going to work without wearing a mask. The list goes on and on, really. Like, I just want to be free. I just want to be free.
What do you make of Rachel Notley calling law enforcement to come break this protest up when she stood arm in arm with Black Lives Matter protests when the pandemic was worse than this?
It's a lot of misinformation being spread, honestly. Like, people here are just fighting for their freedom, period. There's nothing... And Rachel Notley, I have nothing that you can air to say about her.
nothing polite.
No, nothing. No.
Right, nothing.
Call my brother, guys! Call my brother! Call my brother! Call my brother! No. Why are you kicking me out? Tell me why you're kicking me out. I want to know why you're kicking me out. I want to know why you're kicking me out. No, you're breaking the law. Yes, why are you kicking me out? The guy was staring at me. Why are you kicking me out? Why are you breaking the law? I am a free citizen. Why are you doing that? Arthur! Peter! Come! What's going on? What's going on?
Leave him alone!
What's going on? Patriots, come! No, you're not allowed to do that! No! Stand down!
Leave him leave!
What did he do?
Police go home! Police go home!
What did he do?
Police go home!
What did he do?
Police leave him alone!
Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
That's fine. Move back.
Take your hands off. Police, you're wrong.
Don't touch me!
You're wrong. Go
Don't touch me! Serve and protect! Serve and protect!
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I'm actually okay. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Get off me. Don't touch me. I want to document the abuses that you're committing to these people.
Serve and protect! Serve and protect! People go!
Can you tell me what is your name and why are they arresting you?
I haven't done anything. My hands are being broken right now.
What is your reason for arresting them?
Let them go. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything.
Can you describe to me what happened to you when they arrested you?
One of the undercover told me, like a dog, to keep going. And I said, why are you commanding me in such a way? And he didn't like that. So he said, you're under arrest.
Get your hands off me. Don't touch me. What's your name? Hey, name and badge number right now. You. Hey. Hey. Name and badge number. Name and badge number. Name and badge number. Melissa Very. We got it. Don't touch me. Get off of me. Hey!
Touch me! You touch me!
Don't touch me. This is not your area.
You know what? Right now, this area
Get
is
off
for
me.
police.
No, it's not.
You need to stay over here.
Don't touch me, you Nazi! Don't touch
Actually,
me!
no thanks. No thanks. I'll actually go this way.
No!
Get off me!
You're not going that way.
You're not in charge of me. You're not in charge of me. Get your hands off me.
Back up.
This is your badge? Hey!
Back up, please.
No, don't touch me. Stop this. Stop this. You don't treat media in this country like that. We're trying to document the abuses of your police jurisdiction to these people, to these Albertans. And you're putting your hands on media, throwing them into the snow like we're dogs? Who do you think you are? And who do you serve? Huh? Who do you serve?
Are you gonna answer the man, Mr. Wong?
Get your hands off me. You absolute disgrace. Please explain to me what law he broke. Can anyone explain to me?
Sir, I'm here to keep the peace. I have no idea.
You have no idea what he did.
You think you're above the law?
Can you describe to me what he did?
I'm not the arresting officer.
You got
Psychopath!
Yes, sir.
Sure. Could you please describe to me what he did?
She was crying for her husband.
What did he do? Can you explain what he did? There's no reason for his arrest?
Antifa is spewing hatred. Hate.
Would you be able to explain to me what the arrest was for?
I don't know.
No idea. Nobody seems to know. I'm just very confused what happened. A violent kerfuffle that happened just outside of the Alberta legislature, leading to the brother of Pastor Artur Pawlowski being arrested by the Edmonton Police Service. No officer I've spoken to about a dozen can explain what happened, but you can see the footage right here of exactly what happened. They're transferring him currently. He's in that bus, and they're going to, I assume, be moving him to that car. They want to keep this bus here so they can arrest more people who have come to protest in front of the Alberta legislature for their God-given freedoms. It is pretty much pandemonium here right now, and it's not clear why. It's not clear what he did.
Treat him like a human. He's not a criminal. Treat him with the respect you guys respect us. This is nuts, you guys. Come on.
Rachel Notley was standing right beside them, so proud, even though they were breaking the law. But when it's her ideological opponents, people who are fighting for their freedom, people who are fighting for their right to go to work, people who are fighting for their right to go to church and not be put in a maximum security jail because they held service. That's what these people are here fighting for, and Rachel Notley hates it. She absolutely hates it and can't stand it. So she called the police to come here and bust this up. And that's exactly what the Edmonton Police Service did. You can see the footage right here of them nabbing a protester, a brother of a high-profile anti-lockdown protester from Calgary. Last name Pawlowski, you might know them. We're actually fighting some tickets for his brother, Artur Pawlowski. I was simply standing there taking panoramic shots, and this guy was standing right behind me, and all of a sudden the police swarmed him, grabbed him, threw him on the ground over and over and over again, put him in handcuffs, and pushed everyone in their way out of their way onto the ground, actually wounding one person, scratching his wrist when they pushed Artur Pawlowski, his brother, to the ground. They gave no reason for this arrest. They didn't explain what happened. I was standing right there. I didn't see this guy doing anything wrong. But the Edmonton Police Service were quick to arrest them. Now, they didn't arrest anyone from Antifa, of course, even though they brought a massive bus to throw every protester they possibly could in here. They brought tear gas, they brought rubber bullets, and they brought an entire battalion of Edmonton Police Service officers here to intimidate, not to keep the peace, as you might think, but to do what Rachel Notley wanted them to do, and make the moms who brought their kids to this protest feel unsafe, to make the religious worshipers who came here to protest for their charter rights feel unsafe. That's what Edmonton Police Service did here today. It's a massive shame, and they need to be held accountable for it. But the person who ultimately needs to be held accountable for it, well, there's two actually, Rachel Notley and Jason Kenney. Jason Kenney, even though we are on a slide down on, if you look at the coronavirus cases in Canada, there's just a direct, it's an exponential drop of cases right now. And for some reason, churches are still not able to hold their services, and pastors are being arrested and thrown in Justin Trudeau's maximum security prisons. It's a terrible situation that's going on here in Alberta, and Rachel Notley, of course, is the second person who holds responsibility for what happened here today, sicking law enforcement on these protesters who are gathering here lawfully under their constitutional rights. It is a massive shame. I'm happy that I was able to be here and fight for these people by sharing their story, sharing the other side of the story. Because while the mainstream media was here, they're doing their best to cast these protesters in as bad of a light as possible. They're not going to show that these people were marching with Israeli flags, pride flags, while the hateful flags were really on the other side of the police line with Antifa. The mainstream media really is the enemy of freedom here in Alberta and, of course, across the country and the world. I'm glad that I was able to be here for Rebel News in Edmonton, Alberta, reporting the other side of the story. Hey, thanks so much for tuning into our coverage here. We're fighting for people who are in this protest, not just by covering their story, but by fighting their fines, unlawful fines that were given to them by police officers who are overreaching their mandate. We're doing that at fightthefines.com. We're helping small business owners, religious gatherings, religious worshipers, anyone who's been ticketed wrongly, we're helping them. Go to fightthefines.com if you want to help us out there.